When you've got a good reason to celebrate, you've got to pull out all the stops, and that's just what we did. And we weren't the only ones, as you'll see later. We started out booking an overnight stay in one of the top hotels in Bangkok, and we also arranged to eat in one of our favourite 5-star restaurants. We invited our best buddies to join us and pretty much planned the whole thing. But, as is often the case, the best laid plans often go awry, and our plans were no exception. We wanted a, shall we say, refined, laid-back, casual time, but we kind of thought our friends weren't going to let that happen. And boy, we were right. We didn't know it at the time, but things were going to get very crazy. At first, everything was going according to plan. We got a premier room, which was nice. The bed was really comfy and the bathroom was nice with a rain shower and somewhere to sit, which was going to be much needed when I got home after the evening's festivities. Of course, some people might say the view from our window wasn't up to much, but I quite liked the cluttered, unorganised mess of the old and the new, rich and poor buildings seemingly thrown together with no rhyme or reason. On our way to lunch, we had a quick look at the infinity pool, which was quite nice. Large, looked like it was going on forever, and it was full of water. We decided to eat in the spacious but kind of cosy and welcoming lobby lounge just across from the reception, but because we intended to pig out big time at dinner, we didn't want to eat too much. Still, that caramel nut tart was screaming my name, but I managed to resist the temptation, which wasn't easy, so I settled for a pork belly sandwich with cheese and other stuff, and chips, which I wasn't expecting. Red cabbage too. My wife's lunch is scallop and shrimp salad with pear and oranges. Looks very nice. And I'm drinking IPA beer, which is also very nice.
Scallop's good.
Now you might be wondering what the special occasion was all about. Well, I'll tell you. We're here at Marriott Surawongse celebrating my wife's birthday. And we spared no expense in doing it just the way she wanted it to be. Flowers, photographs, big room, loads of people, the works. Fortunately, that wasn't what she wanted. We just happened to be passing the preparations for a wedding reception on the way to the rooftop bar for our complimentary welcome drinks. But first we had to climb 5 sets of stairs to get there, which wasn't bad at the time, but those stairs were going to come back and haunt me later. Morning, afternoon, evening. Nice breeze. But before we had our complimentary drinks, I thought you might want to have a look at the rooftop bar with 2 levels and both giving excellent views of the city, which always looks best as the sun sets. We'd arrived a little early, so after our freebies we decided to have another drink in anticipation of the festivities to come, and our excitement must have shown as even the waitress jumped for joy. And then the phone rang. Our friends had arrived at our scheduled meeting place early and had already opened a bottle of champagne, which was an ominous sign, as they were obviously ready to party, and when they party, they really party. As we drank our champagne, we washed it down with other forms of alcohol, and a couple of hours later we decided it was time for dinner. We ordered 6 Fond de Clare oysters to start, but our host informed us that if we bought 12 for 1,999 baht, we got a free bottle of white wine. So with that in mind, we ordered 24 oysters and got 2 free bottles of white wine. After our oysters, we each ordered our main courses, but we shared. We got Australian ribeye, lobster, French fries,
New Zealand lamb chop.
New Zealand.
more lobster, and octopus.
The octopus is good. It's really, really good. It's like
It's tender.
similar to that when we went to Spain.
Really?
Yeah. That tender.
Hell.
And of course we washed it all down with a bottle of wine each, with me and Mr. Wheelie having more than several vodka shots on the side. By the time we were done, things were starting to get a bit fuzzy round the edges and I was ready to call it a night. But someone suggested we continue back at the rooftop bar in our hotel. I won't mention his name, and I was surprised when the birthday girl accepted the challenge immediately. When we got back there, for some insane reason, probably because I wanted you to see it, I ended up in the hotel's beautifully decked out Chinese restaurant and almost crashed a wedding reception. But I was still almost in control of my senses, so I made a relatively swift exit before they could throw me out. Back with our little party, and after several more drinks I gave up trying to film the occasion because I was having trouble seeing with my eyes, let alone seeing with my iPhone.
Relax. Enjoy. Honestly, Woody,
I guess.
what a great party, mate. We're having a great time.
Good.
Yeah, it was really great, very memorable, at least the bits I remember. We had breakfast late the next morning. I hadn't slept, it was more of a self-induced 9-hour alcoholic coma. So I needed the good old-fashioned Northern English hangover cure. Lots of greasy bacon, a fried egg, pork sausage and lots of liquids. Tea and Rosella. Now if you've never had Rosella, it's really nice and it tastes very much like Ribena. There were lots of choices for breakfast, mostly Western and Thai. And as well as cakes and pastries, loads of fruits and healthy stuff, yogurt, soy drinks and the likes. The breakfast cost 800 baht per person if it's not included in the price of your room, which starts at 5,700 baht for a standard room. After we'd eaten I had another Northern English hangover cure. I went back to bed and got up just in time to shower and go for lunch at Kisui-sen, the hotel's Japanese restaurant. At first we decided to eat on the second floor, which was small and intimate but didn't feel Japanese enough. So instead we opted for the first floor area, which was much more to our liking, with a very inviting Japanese atmosphere and delicious smelling aromas. Plus it had a semi-enclosed seating area where you could smoke. We had tasty and fresh sashimi with beef ribs, an obvious favourite in the restaurant. Tender and full of flavour with lots of fat. Grandma always said, eat the fat, it'll make you big and strong. Plus, it's what makes the meat taste so good, and I love it. And even though it wasn't on the menu, I asked if they could make me a bowl of salmon eggs, and they very kindly obliged with a very well presented, if not bit expensive dish. Still, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't the best. As we ate, we talked about the previous evening, and we both had to thank Wheelie and his wife for being the best company we could possibly wish for, and had to say a massive thank you for paying for the dinner and all, and I mean all, the drinks. And we both had to say they broke the molds after they'd made them too. So when we were done, it was time to get a cab back to reality. Thanks for watching, be good to yourself and those you love. See you on the next one. BFN.